Welcome to this lesson on Garda Vetting. In this lesson, you will learn about the new digital vetting request form for HSE applicants. The form is easy to use and set up, and I'm going to talk you through each of the steps that you need to complete. Once you register with the Garda Vetting Liaison Office, you can begin to submit applications for vetting. Once you're registered, we will send you all of the documentation that you will need to complete the vetting process. One of these documents will be the digital vetting request. Open the email that you have received. Next, you will need to download the vetting request form into a new folder on your PC. You can name the folder whatever you like. I'm just going to call my folder Digital Form. My new folder is created and I'm ready to save this file into my new folder. I'm just going to open my folder and I'm going to save this down into this Digital Form folder, which is sitting on my desktop. Now that the form has been saved down into the folder, I can open it on my PC. Double click to open the file, and this will open in Microsoft Excel. The very first time that you use this form, you will receive a security warning about macros. This is a safe form and it is appropriate to enable content. Once you enable content, by clicking the Enable Content button, the form is now ready to use. I will now demonstrate how to insert a new application. You will have already gathered the information that you need from the applicant, where they've given their consent and provided their current details. I'm going to take that information and input it into this form. I'm going to use a fictitious person, call her Mary. Mary doesn't have a middle name. On the MVB1 form, if a person doesn't have a middle name, they must indicate NA. On the MVB1 form, middle name cannot be left blank. So I am going to insert NA. You will receive a message here to remind you. If a person does have a middle name, you enter their middle name here. I'm now entering their surname. Blogs. Enter their date of birth in the following format. If a person's date of birth is either 16 or 17 years old, additional fields will appear on this form, requesting the parent's email and contact telephone number. And in that case, the invitation will be issued to the parent or guardian. This example, this person is over 18, so them details do not appear. Next, I need to insert a valid email address. A valid email address should always include the @ symbol and indicate the domain at the end, for example here, .ie. It is important that the email is complete and correct, as the invitation for Garda Vetting will be sent to this email address. A contact number must be provided. This can be a mobile or a landline. Role being vetted. This information is being transcribed from the MVB1 form. This is the role that the applicant has consented to be vetted for. The role on the MVB1 form should always indicate how the role is engaged in relevant work, i.e., is it working with children or vulnerable adults or both. Generic roles without this information will be rejected. Mary is going to be a staff nurse, so I'm going to indicate her role here as it's written on the MVB1 form. Next, I need to include an address. At a minimum, 2 lines of address must be provided. Please make sure it's a full address. Please provide the relevant grade code and title for the role that is being vetted for. To make this easier, we have included on the tab down here, grade list, a list of all of the current grade codes. So if you want to, for example, find staff nurse, you can press Ctrl and find on the keyboard, type in staff nurse and find. This will bring you down to the staff nurse section, and you can search through the different options for staff nurse and find the appropriate grade code. New grade codes will be added from time to time and may not appear here. You can, of course, just type these in if you know them. The grade list is just provided as a reference. Organisation name on the MVB1 form must always be HSE. It can include additional details such as the name of a specific unit or hospital, but at a minimum must be HSE. In application type, you choose the type of application that is required. In this example, I am going to choose revetting existing employee with our organisation. For all employees being revetted, a SAP personnel number must be provided, and this is normally 8 digits long. This number will be used to match and update a person's Garda vetting details within their own SAP record. If the application is for a residential application, then tick yes. You must provide the details of the designated data controller for the area in which you work. The result of vetting will be issued to that data controller. Please indicate that the applicant has given their consent on the NVB1 form, that they have ticked the consent box and that they have provided their signature. The date of consent must also be provided. Please confirm that the role for which vetting is being sought is relevant work as defined in the MVB Acts. Vetting can only be sought for those who are engaging in relevant work. Please indicate that you are aware that it is an offence to obtain a vetting disclosure in respect of roles not engaged in relevant work. As part of the vetting process, identity must be verified. Please confirm that you have carried out this step. Provide the details of the person who has done the verification. Providing these details will enable you to refer back to that person should the National Vetting Bureau have a query about the identity of the applicant. Please insert your contact details. Finish this application by confirming the declaration that you understand your responsibilities in relation to applications submitted and that you have checked all the forms for accuracy prior to submission. Now that all the information is complete, I can now save this application by clicking the Save Data button. Once the data has saved successfully, a message will appear to let you know. Click OK. If there's any errors on the form, these errors will be flagged at this point. Once the form is saved, the fields will be blank to allow you to input the next application. If you wish the contact person to remain the same for each application, then you can keep this tick box ticked. To view the data that you have inserted and saved, you can click on the Data tab. Here you will see a table of all the data that you have inputted should you wish to double check it. If you need to, for example, make an amendment to this, you can amend it here in the table. You can enter as many applications as you like in this form, remembering to click Save every time you have finished an application. All the applications data will then appear in the Data tab. Once you have all your applications ready, you can click on Extract New Data. It tells me the records has been successfully extracted and saved in the following password protected file. The file can now be sent to the GVLO. Click OK. I'm going to close this form and show you where the file has saved to. In your digital form folder that we created in the first step, you will find the extracted data folder, and in here the extracted data file has been saved. This is the file that you will send to the Garda Vetting Liaison Office. Double click to open, type in the password, here we have a sheet with all of our information. So I have just inputted one application in this example. If you had inputted 10, 10 will appear here. And what it does, it extracts all new applications that you've inputted. On the file name, it has the name of the submitting manager. Today is the 5th of March 2021, and it also has the time indicated. You'll notice the N at the end to indicate it refers to new applications. All I need to do now is create a new email to Garda Vetting. And attach my file to the email. And send. The GVLO will receive your file and begin processing the applications. When you are ready to input your next applications, you can come to Vetting Request, open it up, and you can begin inputting your remaining applications, remembering to click Save every time. Once you have your applications inserted, you can extract your new applications. A second file will be created, which will extract only those new files since your last extraction. The file for Mary Blogs, we've already extracted it, so it will not appear in your new data. You will only be sending the GVLO your new files. If for any reason you want to create a report of all applications that you have submitted since beginning to use this form, you can use the Extract All Data button. If you have any further queries about this form and how to use it, please do not hesitate to email gardavetting@hse.ie and we would be delighted to assist you.